All right, so we want to solve this linear equation. We have a negative times in parentheses 6x minus 5 minus the quantity in parentheses negative 5x plus 6 equals 3. Okay, so whenever we solve linear equations, right, the first thing we always want to do is get rid of these parentheses. Now remember, getting rid of parentheses means we have to distribute whatever is in front of the parentheses, right? So let's take a look at the first one. Right, we see in the parentheses what's in front here. It's a negative sign. But there's no number here, so we can always assume it's a negative 1. So that means we want to multiply each term inside the parentheses by negative 1. Right, so negative 1 times positive 6x is negative 6x. Negative 5 times negative 1, that gives us plus 5 here. And then the second parentheses is sort of the same thing, right? We see the parentheses, there's a negative in front, so we can imagine that it is a negative 1, so we want to multiply each term here by negative 1. So negative 5x times negative 1 is plus 5x, and positive 6 times negative 1 is negative 6. Okay, so we have successfully eliminated all the parentheses here. Okay, now we take a look. Okay, on the left side here, we can combine the negative 6x and the plus 5x here. We can also combine the positive 5 minus 6. Okay, so before we move stuff around from one side to the other, we always want to simplify each side separately, right? Now, no, right side here, there's nothing to simplify, right? So we don't need to even talk about that. So on the left side, what can we combine? Negative 6x plus 5x, right, which is negative 1x, positive 5 minus 6, which is negative 1. Right? And the other side, we're going to equal 3 here. Okay. I guess I'll just erase that one. So we'll get equals 3. Okay. So now we want to use the properties of equality. Remember, we're isolating the x. Okay, so we always use the addition property of equality first, right? So in this case, we want to add 1 to both sides. Okay, so let's add 1 to both sides here. Notice on the left side, the negative 1 plus 1 cancels out, right? These cancels out, so we're actually just left with the negative 1x. And what do we get on the right side here? 3 plus 1, which is equal to 4. Right, so we have negative 1x equals 4. Now, this is not your final answer, right? Because it's a negative x. So using the division property of equality, we can divide both sides by negative 1. By doing so, we know that negative 1 divided by negative 1 here on the left side, that cancels out actually, right? So we just left with the x. And 4 divided by negative 1, okay, so that's just going to equal negative 4 here. Right, so this is going to be our final answer here. X equals negative 4.